Welcome. I'm Ada Kay, your deaf courtroom commentator, breaking down the gripping courtroom drama, providing ASL interpretation when possible, while making justice accessible to everyone. Grab your favorite cup of Java and let's dive in. Welcome, everybody. Today is a crazy day. We have multiple trials that have gone to verdict watch. So we're going to be watching those today. Those two trials are whom? Well, they are on my. There we go. We have the Jose Soto-Escalera trial. That one's on verdict watch. And then we also have live the why can't I think of the name? Swilley trial. They are both on verdict watch right now. They've only been in verdict watch for a very short time, about 5 minutes each. We are going to see, well, I take it back. The Swilley trial is 22 minutes of verdict watch. The Escalera trial is 18 minutes. So we are definitely in watch for two different trials. Yay, we did some teleporting. Woohoo! We are going to go back, though, and we are going to watch the Soto closing arguments. We didn't see those. So let me get that cleared up. There we go. We're going to go back and watch this. A lot of us missed it because we were watching the other one. I know, it's crazy. Bye. We are in verdict. We'll see how long it takes people to do their thing. So y'all drop comments below. Thank you so much. Do the YouTube thing, and let's get going. Closing argument.
That too. So even more reason why we appreciate you being here. And that's part of the reason. But the good news is y'all elected to have 4, which is the most I've ever used. But that gives you extra insurance if you do wind up having a longer delay.
See how any other procedure could be adopted yet, of course. It permits the possibility of an alternate who did not concur in the verdict participating in the penalty phase.
But that's not problematic legally because we do so many resentencings.
Right.
Oh, that's true.
Right.
Same thing, just years between instead of days. We do so many of those. And the jurors are still filling out their questionnaires. Oh, their lunch menu request. That's a Freudian slip questionnaire, given what we did for 2 weeks. All right, we'll go off the record awaiting that.
Is never an element. Back to jury selection, and we asked the same question of everybody here, and that was, if you're selected as a juror on this case, can you keep your word and follow the law? Remember that? Yeah. Can you keep your word and follow the law? Nothing matters more. If you had given us any indication that you couldn't do that, you wouldn't be here today. Nothing matters more. So that begs a question, well, what's the law? What's the law? Well, here it is. This is what the judge told you yesterday. And it's what is within the jury instructions that you're going to get back with you. So these are the elements of the two crimes that we have. So first, and it's very straightforward. Tanya Wise is dead. The death was caused by the criminal act of Jose Soto-Escalera, and there was a premeditated killing of Tanya Wise. So the period of time, and the law defines premeditation. Now I'm going to give you the full instruction here in a few minutes, but focus in on this. The period of time must be long enough to allow reflection by the defendant. And then there's going to be another question on the verdict form, which is, was a weapon used? Okay, very, very straightforward. Next, first-degree murder of an unborn child. Jose Soto-Escalera caused the death of the unborn child, Tanya Wise, by killing Tanya Wise. His killing of Tanya Wise was first-degree murder, and an unborn child is exactly what you would think. And so now we get into the evidence of the case, right? So anytime you're looking at a case like this, you're looking at some broad themes. The broad themes, number one, you want to look at motive, right? Never an element. Motive is never an element for any crime. However, it's highly relevant, right? Highly relevant evidence, never a motive. Next, you have opportunity, right? Was there an opportunity for this defendant to commit these crimes? And next, and perhaps most significant, is intent, right? We got to prove intent. One, that it was an intentional killing. And number two, that not only was it an intentional killing, but it was done with premeditation. And so when you look at all this evidence, you got to be sure to look at it through the lens of reasonable doubt and through the objective lens of the jury instruction, the law, right? We're not here to be swayed by our emotions. We use our brains that we have, and we view things through the law with critical analysis. So, and remember, the starting point is common sense, right? We never forget, we never throw out our common sense here in the middle of a jury trial. And the starting point is this. People who have nothing to hide have no reason to lie, right? People who have nothing to hide have no reason to lie. Remember, as the jury in the case, you are the fact finders. You are the fact finder. You figure out what evidence is credible and what is not. Who told the truth and who didn't. Only you can answer that. Only you can answer that. Who told the truth? So first, we start with this. Here we are, Jose Soto-Escalera. He's sitting there, August 25th, 2018, and he's being interviewed by Detective Newman and Detective Cannon. And this is what he says.
Listen, she fucking so many dudes that she talked to, and God knows what she did. I don't even. No, I'm saying because she knows a lot of guys, so I don't know. Like, God knows what she's done. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Have you ever been with her? No? Never had sex with her?
And to God.
Okay. That was his statement 2 days after the homicide of Tanya Wise and her unborn child, right? Here he is. He's talking to Detective Newman, and that's what he says. I've never had sex with Tanya Wise. Way in the evidence instruction. We all talked about it in jury selection. How do we figure out who's telling the truth and who's not? Here it is, right here. One of the questions, does the witness's testimony agree with the other testimony and other evidence in the case? In other words, was it confirmed and corroborated, meaning that it's truthful, or is there evidence that contradicts it, meaning that it's false? Well, remember what Wayne Walker testified to. He testified that the probability of Jose Soto-Escalera being the parent of the unborn child Josiah is 99.9999999%, right? So right there, we have him, the defendant, flatly contradicted by the DNA evidence of the case. So we have him lying, okay? But to be clear, that doesn't make him a murderer, right? That doesn't make him a murderer. He's lying, but that doesn't make him a murderer. But he's lying in the middle of a criminal investigation. He's lying in the middle of a criminal investigation. So what else do we have? What else suggests that this defendant had the motive to kill Tanya and her unborn child? Well, as you recall, we have the defendant's statements all the way back to August 21st of 2018. Norma Campos from the FBI testified to this. Remember, the crime happens on August 23rd, 2018. So here we are, 2 days later, session 3 of 39. And here's the defendant talking to Eric Alvarado, his nephew. And what does he say? She's pregnant from that little a-hole that works there. She says it's mine, supposedly. I can't take any chances. I can't take any chances. I lose everything. I'm going to blow her brains out so she doesn't talk. I have to do it, Eric. I have no other choice. I am going to lose everything. If there's some concern about who's saying what during these videos, well, we know who said it. There's only two guys in the truck. I have to do it. Eric, this comes directly from the words of that defendant who say Soto-Escalera, comes directly from his mouth. I'm going to lose everything. And then he goes on, if my wife found something like that out, oh my God, bro, I lose everything, bro. I lose everything. Remember, as we discussed in jury selection, our lives are a reflection of our choices, right? Our lives are a reflection of our choices. He chose to do this. He chose to do these crimes. On August 21st, 2018, you see the genesis of this plan. He chose to do these crimes. Had he simply been accountable, would we even be here today? So we know he has a motive. We know he has the motive now because it comes directly from the horse's mouth. Did he have an opportunity to commit these crimes? Did he have an opportunity to commit these crimes? Okay, so because somebody can have a motive to kill somebody, but again, that doesn't make him a murderer, right? So we got to look next to whether he had an opportunity. So then we have Agent Kelly D.P. Trantonio from the FBI, and she comes in and she testified, and she said, listen, I took the cell phone data from both of the phones of the defendant and the phone of the victim that she was using at the time. So we have the defendant right here. This is his home on Southwest Cactus. And at 8:11, we have him right there. Okay, well, that makes sense. I mean, he's at his own house, right? So the question is, remember, what's corroborated and what's not, right? So the question is, how do we know that the FBI agent was accurate? Or how do we know that her testimony was accurate? Well, if you recall, yesterday we called two.
I hope. Why do I still have music going? I should not have any music going. Where's it coming from? Where do I have the music from? That, that one. Okay. Whew. I had background music and I thought y'all were hearing it. It was just me. Okay. Yes, we do have, there is a hearing. We are looking for right now, for the Lori Daybell coming up. We'll see. We'll see. We do have, I am up and ready to go, but I need a live feed for the hearing. So we're keeping an eye on that. My fabulous mods are doing their, diligence. Yeah. Herbert. Oh, yeah. Glad I found it. It was driving me crazy. Hello, state of confusion. Hello, love. Where is the typo? Hopefully on your end and not mine. If there is a typo, let me know.
Witnesses that were very, very quick, right? Two witnesses very, very quick. We had a witness who was a neighbor of the defendant and a witness who was a neighbor of the victim, right? And they came in, they're maybe 5 or 10 minutes long each. And you got to think, man, geez, that was quick testimony. Maybe it wasn't that important. Well, it turns out it was incredibly important. Why do I say that? Because what they said in the videos that they were able to produce confirms and corroborates Kelly's analysis. Why do I say that? Well, because here we are on Southwest Cactus, next door neighbor.
Yes, we do know, but we need the Zoom link.
We see a truck leaving at 8:11, which is within the time frame that Kelly was able to find, right? She was able to find these times and these geolocations at that time in her analysis. Well, why is that important? Because take a close look at this truck, and what do you see there? You see a fog light, right? Keep that fog light in the back of your mind. Keep that. I'm going to return to that fog light, but we can clearly see a fog light right there. Just file that away for a second. And then we go up to Tanya's home, right? And here we are at Tanya's home, and Elizabeth Bedolla, the mother of Tanya, the grandmother to be of Josiah. And what does she say? She's the last person to see Tanya alive. She says around 8 p.m. or maybe shortly thereafter, right? So she's the last person to see Tanya alive. Important witness. And what did she say? Remember, Agent Kelly's testimony, 2 phone calls were made that provided sufficient data for the phone's geolocation to be determined in a more precise manner, right? Because in 2018, we have the cell phone data. It's not what it is today. Can it give it puts us in the ballpark? It's not 100% accurate. Nothing is, but we do have very good data. And at 8:25, who is talking to Tanya Wise? That will be a good question. Who is the victim talking to? Who is the victim talking to shortly before her death? Who is she with? The defendant, right? The defendant. He makes these 2 phone calls, or actually one to him and one from her at 8:25. At 8:25, and that puts the defendant at her house. So he's calling her. Not only is he calling her, but he's right there at her home. He's right there at her home, right? And the question that I would have is, wait a second, if this defendant had nothing to do with these murders, right? If he had nothing to do with these murders, then why is he at her home? And why is he making phone calls to her right after Elizabeth Bedolla saw her leave the house? And so again, wait a second, but we need corroboration, right? We need corroboration. How do we know that Agent Kelly is right about this? How do we know that this is accurate or not? Well, I'll tell you why. Because the neighbor of Tanya, we pulled her in. And guess what? Surveillance video from their house. What does it show? At 8:26, we see a truck leaving Larchmont Lane. Right there. Right there. So now, not only are we confirmed and correct, not only does the phone data show us that these people are together, having spoken to each other and having been at the right places, but the video surveillance data flatly confirms and corroborates the video surveillance flatly confirms and corroborates the phone data. So we know that they were together at the time, and we know that that truck, the defendant's truck, was used in this crime. Not anybody else's, the defendant's truck. How do I know that? How do we know that? What other evidence confirms and corroborates that the defendant's truck and no one else's was used in this crime? Here's one. Do you remember William Muller? Right? And it's easy to get caught up in this case because the state, we've provided multiple expert witnesses. We've had DNA folks, we've had translators, we've had a guy that did tire impressions, all this lengthy testimony, and it's easy to overlook somebody who takes a stand for 15 minutes, right? He was on there for 15 minutes day one, and it's easy to overlook somebody like that. But man, his testimony was incredibly important. Why do I say that? Because here, what is William Mullen doing? He lives in Barrow, and he's driving home. He's driving back and forth from home and work on the night of the homicide, right? August 23rd, 2018, late at night, he sees a silver full-size truck. His testimony was he sees a silver full-size truck on Russos Road, which is your crime scene, right? He has no idea who these people are, but he sees that truck. And what does he see? It caught his attention because the truck turned on its fog lights, and he thought it was odd. That's what he testified. He just thought it was odd. He turns on these fog lights, right? And he just thought it was odd. And so he makes a mental note of it, right? He makes a mental note of it. The truck, he sees the truck drive slowly off, and then he goes home. And what does he say? When he returns the next day, he's on the same route. He drives by and he sees a crime. He sees all kinds of sheriff's officers, sheriff's deputies, and a crime scene unit. And he comes to them and he says, hey, I don't know if this is important or not, but this is what I saw. I saw a silver truck, and it was odd because it turned its fog lights on. Okay. Somebody who doesn't know anybody. He's a completely independent witness, and he's simply telling you what he saw, right? First question, do you have any reason to doubt that testimony? Is there any reason to disbelieve William Mullen? And the next question is, he also remembered he had a chrome wheel, so he was right on that. The next question is, how do we know that it's the same Dodge Ram? Well, here's Here's the defendant's truck as it was being searched at a search warrant. Here's the defendant. Here's a truck that leaves the defendant's home at 8:11 p.m. that night. We see fog lights that match. We see that it was a four-door truck that matches, and we can also see the chrome wheels. William Mullen was right. William Mullen was right on the money. William Mullen is confirmed and corroborated every which way to Sunday. He was absolutely right. So now we know that the defendant not only had a motive, now we know that he had the opportunity. In part three, now we know that his vehicle was involved in this crime. Well, how do we know that? Remember, both of the phones are together near the crime scene based on the data from Agent Kelly. What's happening here? Both of these phones are moving together first, which is significant. They're both together, and they're both moving north from Tanya's residence to the crime scene at Johnson and Route 6. Significantly, the defendant's statement on August 25th, 2018 to Detective Newman was what? They asked him, you remember what he said? He said, no, I wasn't up there. I was off Selvas Road in Port St. Lucie, right? I was off Selvas Road in Port St. Lucie when this went down. And we know that just like his story about not having sex with Tanya, just like his story, we know that that's flatly refuted by the objective phone data in this case. So now we're up to two significant lies. He lied about his motive and he lied about opportunity. Now we start taking a very, very close look at Jose Soto-Escalera as the person who murdered a pregnant woman. Why would the defendant lie about his location on the night of a double murder? If he had nothing to do with this, if he had nothing to do with these crimes, why is he lying about this? Right? Why is he lying about this? And then the next question is, well, wait a second. Okay, let's say you're very cynical and you say, okay, wait a second. I need some scientific evidence to back this up, right? I mean, I need some scientific evidence. Is there any scientific evidence that implicates this defendant? Of course there is. Of course there is. What do we have? August 31st, 2018. They go and they swab the front passenger side headrest of the silver Dodge Ram. And what do they find? What do they find on the front passenger side headrest of the defendant's silver truck? Tanya Wise's DNA. Okay. Tanya Wise's DNA. What else do we find? If he had nothing to do with these crimes, if he's innocent, what's her blood doing in his car? What else do we find? Okay, here we go. Exhibit 29, a section of carpet. They took that out on September 24th. The major contributor, Tanya Wise. Tanya Wise. So now not only do we know, now we've established motive, now we've established opportunity, and now we've established that this truck was involved in the crime. Tanya was not strangled, right? Tanya was the victim of a brutal murder, whereas Dr. O'Neill testified a substantial loss of blood was a result of a crush injury to her head and a sharp force injury to her neck, 2 sharp force injuries. There would have been a significant amount of blood, and some of it ended up in his vehicle. Okay, so now.
No. The clock has stopped for the Swilley trial already? At 43 minutes?
That point, meaning that Dr. O'Neill had made a mistake when she had simply gone through those medical records. Does that really amount to reasonable doubt? Right? Does that really amount to reasonable doubt? Does that give you any reason? Does that give you any reason to think that Dr. O'Neill got the cause and the manner of death wrong? Of course not. Was Dr. O'Neill wrong when she said that Tanya died of a head injury, which caused a skull fracture and brain swelling? Was she wrong when she said that Tanya died of 2 significant, serious sharp force injuries to her neck? No. We're talking about a typo in her report, or a mistake in her report. Is that reasonable doubt? Of course not. Of course not. There is no requirement. There is nothing in those jury instructions that the judge read to you. There is nothing in the jury instructions that will go back with you that suggest or even approach.
I have no idea, y'all. We already are back in court. There was a verdict or question. I'm not sure yet which.
Judge, if we could watch the landfill video first, what's happening is when I play it and I try to pause it, it advances just to the next slide. I can't pause it internally with this method.
Okay.
What I can do is I can get an external drive, take the disk in evidence and pause and play it and pause it that way.
Okay. All right. So
But we can start, if you want to start with the landfill video.
we'll start with the landfill video. And apparently he's in, Bill, go and get a drive. Let me know when you're ready.
Yes, sir.
But we can also, if you want, I can play it straight through. Why don't we do that too? You want to just play it through? Let's start with the landfill one. Then we'll play that straight through depending on when she gets back, okay?
Yes, sir.
The landfill one's not long.
What are we doing? They wanted a video to be replayed.
Pause.
See that part again as it starts to take off.
Yeah, let's just, okay, we can play it again. If you want to stand closer, you can. And you can also stand close to that screen right there. That's actually ground level. If you want. Oh, we got the other half. There's still more of it. Here's the other part.
take it off of presenter view, I can then play the body cam. Thank you. Okay, you're on.
It's off. It somehow is sticking.
Judge, that was a hand raised from the chair.
Yeah, I'm trying to deal with this first, but yes.
Could
Yes,
I
sir.
submit a question to you
In writing.
in writing?
Has to be in writing. Put it back on. For some reason it's sticking. The image is sticking.
You called in because my other half haven't seen you since late Thursday night when we went to bed.
I tried to throw it.
You want to pause very early in, is that correct? Okay. Jurors indicate they want to pause very early into the video.
Of course, this computer does not have the same port as the other one. I apologize, Your Honor.
Hello, everybody.
If we could take it off of display mode, Judge. Thank you.
This is interesting, y'all. I have to put shoes on because the kitty is playing with my toe and it hurt. He likes bare toe, plays with them. He'll just all night if she sees your bare feet. Quirky kitty.
Okay, Your Honor, I think this hopefully will work.
Please pause it just a few seconds into it. No sound.
I have my sound turned off during court, Your Honor.
Called in because my other half.
Okay, stop. Go.
Since late Thursday night when we went to bed. He didn't show up for work yesterday. They've called, they've texted. Everybody's called and texted. We don't actually live here. This is his secondary apartment that he uses for his massage studio and other stuff. But his Jeep's been here, the girl's now saying for almost 2 to 3 days, it hasn't moved, and we can't get a hold of him. We've called, y'all did a wellness check yesterday. They couldn't go in because I don't have a key, so they told me to get a hold of the landlord. He actually has a key.
Okay.
But they told us not to go in since I'm not legally on the lease
Right.
or anything.
Okay.
So,
What's his name?
Timothy Floyd Smith. But it's not like him because normally he's the executive director at the Brookdale Shambrel Bank Castle, so he's very responsible about it. You know, that's his job. He does everything.
631.
And that's his wife.
Go ahead and start medics this way. Yeah. What is it? C?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and get the medics running. Yeah, they ain't gonna be able to do any good. Right, good.
Sheriff's.
Yes, sir. Want to pause?
Yeah, could we skip to when they communicate again after the officer?
Just when the officer comes out. Okay. It's an imprecise process, but I think I'll have to.
I know.
Cancel medics. Signal 7.
Sorry. Well, they would have been here last night if I hadn't given out the wrong phone number. I didn't give them Jack's phone number for the landlord because I have it in as Jack in Ocala with an L. So I thought it was Jack for landlord, and it's Jack of AA that we saw at our retreat. And I gave him that number, and he called me this morning and said, Herbie, I'm not Jack's landlord, so why are you calling me? And I'm like, oh my God, I said. So I've been scrolling through it. It took me 45 minutes to find his number, and I had to find it via text. I've got to call Kevin.
When's the last time you saw him?
I went to bed on Thursday night, and I go to bed about 9:30. He finishes doing his medication. I would say about 11, I heard him get up. But that's not uncommon because he gets up and he'll go do Facebook posting for this stuff called Thrive, and he'll just relax and stuff. But I assumed he was still home, to be honest with you. I got up my regular time, 4:40. I went straight to the gym like I normally do, the Planet Fitness. I came home very quietly because if he's asleep, I try not to wake him because he doesn't have to be to work until 8 or 9. So I went in, took my shower. I left with my work trailer to go to work. I got back because I picked up all the materials, and before I went to the Villages, I figured I'd stop back by the house because I had forgot to get a change of clothes. So I stopped back by the house real quick. I went in. The bed was unmade. He wasn't in the
You're
house.
saying stop by the house, not here.
No, my house.
Where is that at?
We live at 5388 Southeast 26th Court is our physical house. This is just his
Gotcha.
massage office, our playroom and stuff like that, because that's what this was set up for, so that way we could host parties occasionally, because we have a 20-year-old daughter and we didn't want to do it at home. And so when I went home, this was out of the garage on Thursday morning before 8. This was not there, so I don't know when he left. And he wasn't there. So I went on to work, and at 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, I got a phone call from Tammy Warner at Brookdale and said that they have not seen Tim or heard from him. They've been texting all day. So that's when I told her about the apartment.
What time was that?
That was around 4
p.m.
So then I drove over here. I saw the Jeep here, so I knocked on the door and everything. And no answer, no nothing. I called the sheriff's department and they told me not to go in since I'm not on the lease. So I went on and did that.
What, 4 o'clock, I said, let me interrupt you. 4 o'clock yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And you haven't seen him since Thursday?
Well, since I went to bed, because once I go to
Right.
sleep, I don't hear anything because I take a couple of sleeping pills and
Gotcha.
stuff because
So Thursday, he was at the house on 26th Court.
Yep.
Thursday morning.
he was not. Because when I went back there,
You mean Friday morning?
well, yeah, Friday. Sorry,
Okay.
Friday morning. Sorry, Friday morning. Yeah, getting
Okay.
confused because just kind of, yeah, Friday morning,
Okay.
which would have been yesterday morning.
Mm.
And then this morning I've texted him several times. We've had everybody calling and texting him
Mhm.
all day and everything.
What kind of, he usually has his phone? What kind of phone is it?
He has the same phone I do, except for the case is clear. It's a Samsung.
Okay.
And he also has a work phone. That I don't know the number to because that's a Brookdale phone.
What's his phone number?
It's 352-283-2372.
You don't have his work number?
No, Tammy Warner's going to come by, so she would have it. He's never, that's something that we don't call on his work phone because it's a Brookdale phone and everything I call for would be personal, so that's just the way we've always been. That's all I have.
What was
15 years.
What was your name?
I'm Herbert, H-E-R-B-E-R-T. Swilley, S-W-I-L-L-E-Y.
What's your birthday?
It's 02/02/1968. We are legally married.
What's your phone number?
352-283-2372.
And what was your name?
Jack Sharp.
Where's the hysterics? Where is the anger? Where is the fear?
It's 14 letters. S-C-H-A-R-F, S-C-H again, W-W-E-R-D-T.
What's your birthday?
8/11/63.
And you don't live here, you're just a landlord?
Yeah, I own it, but yeah, I live across town.
Okay. What's a good address for you?
My home address?
Yeah.
4040. 34479.
These little pads are so hard to write on. All right, so our major crimes detectives will probably have to come out and take over the investigation. Standard procedures.
Stay out here then.
Yeah, they're going to need to talk to you. They're going to ask you pretty much the same questions I asked, but they might ask a few more.
I know. My dad's a retired deputy sheriff from Washington County. So
Okay.
yeah, that's how come I knew that I had to do certain steps because
Yeah.
I had done it once where I had a tenant that was mine and I went into the apartment and I almost ended up in jail for because they weren't there.
Yeah.
And I ended up having to go in. They found out, and it's like it's a very tough area to be in.
Yeah, I'll be hanging out until they get here. So if you have any questions or
I'll
anything,
just stay here. Then I'm gonna call I'm gonna call my sponsor and stuff.
Okay.
He's my best friend too.
okay. But we have our advocates that are available if you need someone to talk to about resources that are available and everything. I can have one of them come out and talk to you if you'd like.
That's fine. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Because this will be difficult.
Yeah.
We have a daughter too, and
I got you. Yeah.
so
I'm gonna pull my car up right.
that's fine. That's why I pulled over there and I didn't bring my truck. I knew it'd be,
Yeah.
we'll have a trailer and everything.
Oh, okay.
Do we want to watch it again? No? So your lunch is here now, so we'll give you your lunch and we'll go from there.
There are 2 body cams. The jury doesn't want to see the second one.
What's the second one from which?
The same deputy?
Yes.
Apparently there's 2 of them. Do you want to watch both?
I want to see this.
Okay, well, we'll play the other one. They're both in evidence?
Yes.
Place, is that why you didn't have a key?
This is not a primary residence.
No, I mean,
No,
his,
I have a key, but my daughter thinks he took it off the key ring at the beginning of the week because when he goes and plays, he wants the key, so that way he's not over here using it. So I have a key, but I think it's with his stuff here.
Okay.
Because when he goes and plays during the week, he takes the key.
Gotcha.
Because he doesn't want me interrupting. And his thing to me
Just want
tells
to
me I'm
interrupt
being
the bang
inside.
bang.
So I know what it means. I let it go, and you know, at least the daughter thinks he may have taken the key off the key ring. Otherwise, I lost him because they're supposed to be on a key ring like this. Yeah, it's supposed to be on this, and this piece is not in my key. So this whole assembly on my other truck key, this is gone without the keys. So, but she doesn't know for sure. She just thinks he may have gotten it, or I may have lost it.
If there's three of them,
But took the whole assembly. And that would have been, that'd have been like Tuesday. Because we don't use keys for the house. We have digital remote for everything. And we have power gate openers and stuff. So I wouldn't even know where to look for my house key to find it. Somewhere in one of the drawers, I do know that.
Sounds like a cover up to me.
How often does he come over here and does he stay the night?
No.
Never
That's
stays the night?
He never stays the night. Well, he's only stayed 2 nights that I know of. That's it.
How long?
2 nights were, one was a couple of weeks ago. And then one was right after we finished the place. He stayed 1 night that I know of.
So in the last month, he stayed 2 nights?
Yeah. I'd say in the last month easily. But he never leaves like very many clothes here. He only leaves the
What was he wearing last time you saw him?
a pair of blue jeans. I don't remember the shirt. I know it's an Affliction shirt probably. It's either that or an American Eagle. I can't remember. And he usually wears either boots or hay boots. And since it was in the evening, I knew he'd be getting ready for bed, so he'd be changing into something else. But then at that point, he would wear like fitness type pants at night to sleep in, and just a t-shirt. But when he walks around the house and everything, anywhere he walks, he won't walk barefooted.
Do you know of anyone else that came over here?
I don't know who they are when he brings anybody over or anything like that. They're all on his either Adam for Adam account or his Grinder, Growler, stuff like that is what he uses. Same thing I have. I was over here last Saturday with somebody that I know, and he didn't want to play or anything, so Tim went and did a motorcycle ride. So I was over here last Saturday, and that's how when I knew I had my key, because I was over here last Saturday during the day.
What's is it his daughter?
It's my daughter.
Your daughter? What's her name? Does she live with y'all?
Yes.
What's her name?
Jordan. Jordan. Swilley. Swilley.
What's her birthday?
May 11th. And she should be right now. I'm not sure how many hours she's working at her new job.
Yes.
No, she quit Laredo. She got tired of Laredo's because somebody offered her some marijuana and some pot and stuff, and she just was tired of all that drama in her restaurant because she's She doesn't.
And you said he didn't use anything?
You know, we both quit drinking and stuff. Like I said, I've got 3 years, January 5th. He's got it August 13th. Would have been 3 years.
Okay.
I mean, so it's past 3 years now. Yeah, because it was the 2019 in August when he decided to quit drinking, and then I quit after that.
Okay.
Because we were drinking way too much.
Is the keys to the Jeep on a lanyard or anything?
They're usually in a black bag that he keeps on his shoulder, and it just goes in there because it works on a fob. And he doesn't keep them in his pocket.
Okay. So he just holds the bag and pushes the button.
Well, he holds the bag and he just touches it, and
Yeah.
I can tell you now, he won't even keep a key in his pocket hardly at all. He barely keeps them at work in his pocket. He puts them down on the desk. That's one of the things that.
Jury has reached a verdict in the pregnant Chris murder trial. We have a verdict in the Soto-Escalera trial. FYI, we have a verdict.
Okay.
I will be there when we get there.
Sitting on the dresser at the house.
Okay.
Or last night, I took that gun out because that was my gun.
So the Jeep was unlocked?
No, the Jeep was locked. I came last night with my key. I have a set of keys at home for it.
Gotcha.
I just didn't bring them now because I didn't think about it. But we came last night.
Trial, there is a verdict. And it's good.
Just because Candy made a point to me, not you, when Candy said, she says, do you have a gun in the Jeep or anything? I said, yeah. She said, well, you shouldn't leave it there unsecured because it's in your name. So we came by last night. We even beat on the door after the officer just to see if we could get a hold of him one more time. And he got nothing. But I put that gun on the dining room table just so it wasn't here.
What time were y'all here?
It was probably around 9-ish.
Okay.
Or actually, it had to be before 9. Because I know we got back home just before 9.
Okay.
So I can probably kind of give you a better time.
Yeah, that's fine. I just approximate. That's fine.
Sometimes I know where I was at and who I was calling at the time. So.
Oh, I get you. No, that's fine.
Thank you.
I think that as far as this is concerned, the evidence that was a clinchpin for that trial in the Jose Antonio Soto-Escalera trial was the video and audio from the truck. You can't be listening to somebody's own words. It is what it is. I'm not surprised. This is this quick. I mean, you might as well sit there and confess. You might as well sit there and confess. We're going to switch over to this feed. Let's go in.
If you knew you were being recorded, you really wouldn't be talking about this stuff. She tried to say those weren't what the translations were. The way they were translating them were actually not accurate. That's what she tried to say. But let's go ahead and play this one part, which I think probably was pretty convincing for the jury. Again, we don't know what the verdict is yet, but let's go ahead and play that.
And I'm not the only one. She's pregnant from that little that works there. She says it's mine, supposedly. I can't take chances. I lose everything. No, I am telling you the truth. If something happens to me, you already know. I'm going to blow her brains out so she doesn't talk. I have to do it, Eric. I have no other choice. I'm going to lose everything. What I need is someone to drive me. That's it.
All right, Cannon. So you heard these translations right there. And I will say, before defense counsel delivered her closing, I thought, oh my gosh, what is she going to talk about? And again, I do think she did as good of a job as she could with what she had to work with. But you hear the translations of those. I mean, that is just, it's pretty horrific.
It's horrible, Kelly. I mean, you have someone here who's obviously very concerned about what this information will do to his life. Well, we now subsequently know that he was married. We know that he had a family of his own. So this young victim wouldn't have been someone that would help him or make his life easier. So based on that transcribe of what was said in the car or in the truck, it's clear that he wanted this problem to be taken care of and that he would do whatever that it took in order to take care of it. So unfortunately, the defense didn't provide any transcribings of what they assumed that he was saying other than what was actually provided. And I believe that the jury heard that, and now we have a quick verdict.
Yeah, what she was just trying to argue is that just their translations were not accurate. But not only did he have a family of his own, he also had a little baby growing inside of his mistress, who she was 8.5 months pregnant. And I believe she was scheduled for a C-section the very next week or something really close to that time frame. So, yeah, I just don't think that it looks very good for the defendant in this case. We're going to get in a break, Cannon, but what we're hearing also is that if they come back on that top charge of guilty in first-degree murder, then we're going to go into the penalty phase. But the penalty phase, they discussed this, it's not going to be taking place until next week. So that wouldn't be taking place, if we go there to the penalty phase, until next Wednesday. We're going to squeeze in a break. We'll be right back.
Well, that's interesting. I just Googled about the Lori Daybell, and there is I don't think there's a hearing today. I don't see it anywhere. So I don't know. I have no idea where that is going to be. We have not found a link for that trial as of yet. I mean, that hearing with Lori Daybell. Should we find the Zoom link for the Lori Daybell, we will do it. Odds, one thing that we can do is look for the county that her case would be in. Go to the courthouse for that county's page and see if they have a Zoom link for that court. But I'm not finding one. Where is, let me just, second, I'm researching. And it would be in Pope County Superior Court. I'm looking too, guys, for the we need the meeting ID and numbers for that, guys. That's the problem. Maud, I'm going to send y'all a link. If someone can contact the clerk, I'm putting it in live comm. If somebody can click on that and contact the courts and see the Clerk of Media inquires. Hold on. Hold on. Almost there. I thought I had it.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. Breaking news in the case we have been watching out of Florida. This is a verdict in the Jose Soto-Escalera case. What we're hearing so far from our producer on the ground there in Florida is that the defendant has just been making his way into the courtroom now. We're still waiting for the judge to take the bench. So as soon as the judge does, and we have audio from inside that courtroom, we will take you there live. But as we wait for the verdict, let's bring in trial attorney Cannon Curting. So Cannon, let's just talk. We have the verdict that we're awaiting. We do not know what this verdict might be. When taking a look at this case and all of the evidence against the defendant, is there anything differently you think the defense counsel could have done? They didn't present a case, but she did make a heck of an argument in closing arguments, pointing the finger at other people, saying someone else could have been driving that truck. Somebody else could have been texting and calling from the defendant's cell phone.
Kelly, I just believe she's, did a Hail Mary in this situation, because at this point, who is that someone else? What pertinent facts does she have that would assist the jury in believing that there's someone else actually committed the crime that the defendant is here for today? So I don't see much that's going to be able to assist him, especially considering the fact that there are facts that he provided her with money for the deceased victim with money for an abortion, and that she allegedly didn't use that money for what he paid her for. So all of these different facts are, if I'm a juror, just essentially sealing the coffin at this point for the defendant.
So Cannon, when we talk about the victim in this case, 23-year-old Tanya Wise, defense counsel really in the closing talked about her background. She knew some people that were not the, most maybe upstanding people in society. And she even pointed to her own client, saying he's not either. Yes. He was cheating on his wife, who he had been married to for a number of years. So she was really talking about the victim. That's a fine line to walk when you're delivering the closing, when you have a situation where this poor young woman, she was pregnant, 8.5 months pregnant, and she was found face down in a ditch. I mean, you got to be careful because she died a very tragic death, and she was a young pregnant mother. That's hard to do, but defense counsel does have a job to do in defending her client.
You're correct, Kelly. So essentially, the concern with walking that tight line is, does someone in the jury have an affinity with pregnant women or women who are going to be mothers or women in general? So if they do, and they have an issue with you now victimizing the victim, making the victim into a bad person, then that in itself could stop them from hearing anything else that you have to say. It's a very tight line. At the end of the day, you have to advocate for your client. You have to persuade the jury to acquit him in this situation. And you want to use every fact at your disposal to do that. It's just many times when you go after the victim, jurors don't like that. They are not going to be able to hear much more many times when they have just made in their mind that this person has been wronged, and we're here solely to go after the person who committed that wrong.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and play a little bit of a clip. This was during the trial, and this is the defendant, a translation of the defendant, in which it appears he's saying there's no evidence for them to find that maybe he committed this crime. But let's go ahead and play it. We can talk about it on the other side.
Because I have to be calm like that now. Everything to them, it's fine.
Did she have a purse? Hers? No. If they find her now, they can't do the inaudible final because the mom is not called. She is not missing yet on this side. they don't consider her as missing. The what did she die of? What did she have? What does she have? So they will put her in a box, take her out, the son, inaudible, problem. And since she disappears like that for a couple of days, no one is going to be looking for her. I already took 2 baths when I got to her house, and I bathed this morning. I bathed. I cleaned my hands with the cleaner, the one for breaks, because I had gloves and everything just in case.
Did you see the blood?
Huh?
Did you see blood? Did you see?
I had it all over the clothes, but without the evidence, they can't do nothing. If something happens, no one saw the bag.
I mean, Cannon, talking about those translations, I mean, you hear those, and it's just like, oh, how can the defendant even, sit there? Obviously, they have a right to remain silent. They don't have to say anything in a case. He didn't take the stand, which was a good thing. What do you make of that?
I mean, it's damning. This is someone that appears to be discussing how he got rid of evidence. This is someone that appears to be discussing how he's eluding the police and investigators and law enforcement. So again, the only thing that I could see that would make any sense for the defendant to fight this would be that he's going after what is perceived to be said in a foreign language. That's it. The transcribing is wrong. So bring someone in that's going to provide a different translation of what was said in the truck or when he was recorded. But besides that, if we're going off that these are legible, these are from someone who was accredited with putting their stamp on this being the correct translation, then I don't see how he's going to escape a guilty verdict.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. We're taking a live look inside that courtroom now, just waiting for the judge to get on the bench. You can see the security guards that are lined up in front there. This always happens in pretty much every case that I've been involved with, just because they need to make sure that no one has any outbursts or no one does anything that, could cause any challenges inside that courtroom. Cannon, I was taking a look at the jury makeup. So obviously some are alternates, but there were 16 people. So 12 would be deciding the case, then 4 others as alternates.
Held everywhere.
It looks like, if I'm looking at the jury makeup correctly, it looks like there are 13 women and then 3 men. Now, of the deciding panel of 12, who that is, but I believe 3 men are on that deciding panel. So then that would leave you with at least, the nine females. From a female perspective, and I'm a female, I mean, you hear this case, you hear the evidence in this case, you hear the young woman, and she's, obviously having a relationship with a married man. She's pregnant with his child, and she dies this terrible death. She's about ready to give birth to, another child. I mean,
say that last 3 again.
Women don't look too favorably upon that, I have to tell you.
506.
I would say that's you always want to look at the jury makeup. So at this point, with the makeup being 13 women and 3 men, you want to know, what did the defense voir dire? What happened during that time period? Why weren't there more men? What is the age range of the women? All of these different things will come obviously to matter when we get that verdict. But again, this goes back to now making the victim into the bad person. If you are speaking to the jury, who again is comprisely made up of women, then as you just indicated for yourself, Kelly, that's something that you're not going to look favorably to. So I just don't see, again, it makes a lot of sense why we have a verdict after an hour. Obviously, I'm not a soothsayer to say that it's guaranteed to be a guilty verdict, but based on the facts, based on the jury makeup, based on everything that I've heard, it's no way possible that it's not going to come back guilty.
Yeah, and it looks like it's 6 Hispanic women and 2 Hispanic men make up that panel. Obviously, the defendant Hispanic as well. So we have another clip, Cannon. Let's go ahead and play that. We can talk about that one on the other side.
What you don't know is that she disappears for 1, 2, and even 3 days. She just takes off recklessly to do her own thing. Is that good? She's gotten in trouble with me, with the police. She has a record. She's not the kind of person they'll be searching for like that. Nah, it could be after a week or two, or maybe even a month.
And Cannon, that one really bothered me when I heard that one too, because it's like, here's this person basically saying this young girl doesn't matter. You know, who knows what her circumstances were growing up, and obviously she was involved in a lifestyle that people don't look too favorably upon, and and then he's basically just saying, oh, no one's even going to look for her, no one cares for her. And again, we don't know what the verdict is in this case. I'm just talking about in regard to just hearing the evidence as a juror, and you hear that someone was saying that's what they're saying, he said it just doesn't sit well.
It doesn't sit well, Kelly, but to be truthful, of all the things that I've heard, that horrible translation actually would have been the best. Had he not had other translations where it was discussing him murdering and getting rid of the bloody clothes or whatever it may be, this one actually may be helpful because he's discussing solely her background. He's discussing that she has gone missing before and that had nothing to do with him. So again, this is something that you're trying to find the best out of the worst, or make lemons into lemonade from lemons. But at this point, that would have at least been able for him to be able to say, she has a background that I don't know anything about.
Yeah, no, that's true. Looking at the defendant there, awaiting his fate, adjusting his suit coat there, unbuttoning it, because he's going to be having to stand up here pretty soon to see exactly what the jurors decide. We're going to take a break, Cannon. Stay with us, viewers. We're coming right back with a verdict in the case we're watching out of Florida, the pregnant mistress murder trial. We'll be right back.
My 2 best friends were just murdered.
Join me for a Court TV true crime series where we take you from the crime scene to the courtroom.
Donna Adelson hates every piece of grass that Dan Marcel ever walked on.
It's something that'll haunt all of us forever.
It always seemed like he was covering or deceiving.
This was a whole different level.
Victim to Verdict with Ted Rollins, a Court TV original series. Season premieres September 27th.
Only on Court TV.
As you can hear, I'm on hold.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. We are waiting a verdict in the Jose Soto-Escalera case. What we're hearing is that the judge has made his way into the courtroom. We're still waiting for some jurors who are finishing up their lunch. That's what we're hearing from our group on the ground there. So as soon as we have a verdict in that case, we will take you there live. But in the meantime, we still have Cannon Kearney with us. Okay, Cannon, just talking again about some of the things defense counsel said in closing, and she was pointing the finger at Deborah, who is the defendant's wife, talking about that, also talking about the nephew, saying Eric could have done it as well. But it's just really interesting to hear then when you see all of this other evidence and nothing really concrete that pointed to Deborah or pointed to Eric. Now, what defense counsel was saying is they didn't really fully investigate these two other potential suspects, and that's what defense counsel has to do. But there really wasn't any evidence to point to them during trial.
Well, definitely no evidence, Kelly, to overcome the cell phone pings that indicated that the defendant was moving to and from the area in which the victim was. Definitely no evidence to indicate that the carpet that had the victim's blood on it from his car, from the defendant's car, that doesn't point to the wife, Deborah. So even if they were able to, quote unquote, speculate about other individuals who may have done this horrendous crime, the facts still lead to the defendant. And even if they didn't, again, now you're looking at the totality of facts. So you're going to go into the recordings. You're going to go into witnesses who described their conversations with him in regards to the victim. So he's not being painted as somebody that, as a juror, you're just going to say, well, you know what? It's not enough evidence. I'm just going to say he didn't do it. No, they're going to say he did it, and most likely that's what we're going to hear when the verdict comes. Guilty.
Cannon, what about this one that defense counsel argued in closing? She said what we heard on those recordings is that the defendant is talking about a gun. We heard him say it, according to the translator, I want to blow her brains out or something along those lines. The defense counsel said, but that's not how she died. She had 2 major injuries to the top of her head. So she died of a head injury. So defense counsel was saying, well, he was talking about using a gun to blow her away.
At some point in time, maybe that was what he was thinking of, how he was going to dispose of or to murder the victim.
Okay, I'm going to say this. I don't know how she got a link because I just talked to the Court of Kirk court. Unless she got it from a family member or lawyer, I don't know how anybody got a link because the clerk of court said that there's absolutely no live viewing of this today. There's no live stream. There's no Zoom. And this is an in-person meeting, which means they are transferring her from the jail, Lori Daybell, from the jail to the courthouse. So she said there is no Zoom. We'll see what happens. Mods, if you'll just kind of keep your eyes open on YouTube, I'm monitoring these 2 trials. If something pops up on YouTube, great, we'll grab it. If it's another content creator, I'll work a way around it. I will work my way around it. But in the meantime, we're going to stay here.
But even in that clearly indicates the thought process or the character of the defendant. So that the victim didn't die that way doesn't mean that he wasn't the person that killed her. It could be, one right, one wrong, or 2 of the same things that are right, but it just didn't happen in the way that the defense is trying to paint the picture. So I would say that his character is shown more so from those conversations, and that's what's going to affect the jury more so than the actual manner in which the victim died.
So we're still waiting for them to read the verdict, to make their way back to the courtroom, the jurors. So why don't we do this? Let's play back some key testimony. This is the victim's mother. So Tanya Weiss's mother, she was on the stand talking about, it was the night, I believe it was the night before they found her body. Let's go ahead and play that.
I want you to go ahead and describe Tanya for us. So first, way back on August 23rd of 2018, how old was Tanya?
She was 23.
I'm sorry.
She was 23.
Okay. And did she have children?
Yes. At home, she had an 8-year-old, Jamar, and she was pregnant.
Okay. How far along was she in her pregnancy?
She was about 8.5 months.
Okay. And had Tanya decided on the name of the baby?
She decided that on the baby shower. It's Josiah Thomas Weiss.
Okay. A boy.
A boy.
Okay. And did she live with you on August 23rd of 2018?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where did you guys live? What was the address?
2014 Southwest Larchmont Lane in Port St. Lucie.
Okay. Is that located near Bayshore Boulevard?
Yes.
Okay. And is there like a Winn-Dixie close to that area?
Yeah, if you continue the road, it's 2 blocks down. There's a Winn-Dixie.
Okay. Do you remember her phone number?
I believe so. It's 772-607.
Okay. And did you pay for her phone or did somebody else pay for it?
Bradley paid for it.
And what's Bradley's name?
Bradley, I think it's Rodriguez. I'm not sure, Rodriguez or Hernandez. There's one of the two.
Bradley Rodriguez?
Uh-huh.
Bradley Rodriguez Jr.?
Yes.
Okay. So let me go back and I want to focus you in on the events of August 23rd, 2018 in the evening time. Do you remember that time?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead. What were you doing around 8 in the evening on that day in your house?
Me and my daughter, Tanya, we had given her son a bath because he was going to school. So we gave him a bath around that time always. And I was going to get him dressed. She was going to go out. She needed to get drinks because he didn't have no drinks for lunch the next day.
Okay. And about what time did she leave?
It's probably about anywhere between a little bit after 8. I mean, I said a little bit. I mean, I didn't exactly look at the clock, but I know it was a little bit after 8. Could have been 8:15, 8:20. It was around that time.
Okay. Okay. And when she left, where was she going again? I couldn't quite hear you. I'm sorry.
She was going to go get drinks for her son for school, for his lunch.
Okay.
That's the purpose she left the house, because she had problems walking and everything because of her pregnancy. So she left just to get the drinks.
Okay. And was that the last time you ever saw your daughter, Tanya?
Yeah, by the door, yes.
Okay. And are you aware if Tanya had a follow-up doctor's appointment the following week?
Yes, it was a Tuesday for her.
All right, we're going to get out of that because we're hearing there's movement inside that courtroom. We were just replaying some testimony from Tanya's mother when she had taken the stand earlier in this case. Her mother is sitting there, of course, waiting to hear the verdict, waiting to see exactly what the jurors come back on in this case that's against Jose Soto-Escalera. But we're just waiting for everyone to make their way back into that courtroom. I don't believe that we have any audio yet. We don't have any audio yet, so still kind of waiting for things to take place. But as we wait, he's standing up. Let's go ahead and go in.
Back on the record, all parties are present, told off the jury. I'm told the jury has reached a verdict. Before we receive the verdict, particularly in this case, it's imperative that whoever remains here in the courtroom while we receive the verdict remains stoic and does not express himself or herself with joy or sadness or whatever it is, because there's a potential that the case continues, and that would be improperly influencing the case going on. So if you're here, make sure you can contain yourself and if you're
Any of the above, lesser.
Sorry.
someone else will tell you what happened.
Sorry.
Is everyone clear on that? All right. Let's bring in the jury and we'll receive the verdict. All right, Miss Bickley, are you the foreperson? Yes. Has the jury reached a verdict? Yes. If you please hand the verdict form to the bailiff, who will hand it to me for review before it's published. The verdict is in proper form. The defendant shall remain standing while the verdict is published through the clerk.
We, the jury, find Jose Soto-Escalera as to count 1, guilty of first-degree murder as charged in the indictment. If you find the defendant guilty as charged or guilty of any of the above lesser offenses, you must next determine if any of the following has been proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Check yes if proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Check no if not proven beyond a reasonable doubt. During the commission of the offense, the defendant did carry, display, use, threaten to use, or attempt to use any weapon. Yes. As to count 2, guilty of first-degree murder of an unborn child as charged in the indictment. So say we all. This 19th day of September 2025, foreperson Ariel
Bickley. Please be seated. I will poll the jury. Mr. Montecon, I believe your name is Montecon, right? My last name have Monte on the.
Doesn't even look phased. Does it even look like he cares?
Sheet here. Mr. Monte, is this your verdict as well as the verdict of the jury as a whole? Miss Johns, is this your verdict as well as the verdict of the jury as a whole?
Yes.
Miss Ed, your verdict as well as the verdict of the jury as a whole?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good for you, Mama.
Miss Wright, is this your verdict as well as the verdict of the jury as a whole?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Sid, as well as the verdict of the jury as a whole?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss, your verdict as well as the verdict of the jury as a whole?
Yes.
Mr. Your verdict as well as the verdict of the jury as a whole?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Ortiz, your verdict as well as the verdict of the jury as a whole?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Your verdict as well as the verdict of the jury as a whole?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss, your verdict as well as the verdict of the jury as a whole?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Miss, like your name pronounced, is this your verdict as well as the verdict of the jury as a whole?
Yes, Your Honor.
And
Yes, Your Honor.
the verdict is accepted by the court at this time. And ladies and gentlemen, the procedure that we're going to follow at this time, given your verdict, is we're going to proceed to the second phase of this trial, which is called the penalty phase. We're going to do that on Wednesday of next week. Monday, the lawyers and I are going to be working on the case in court. Tuesday is a court holiday, so we will reconvene Wednesday, the 24th at 8:45 for that proceeding. This is very important, and I've instructed the alternates the same way. They will be reappearing on that day as well. It's very important to follow that rule that I've instructed you on from the beginning of the trial, which is in relation to this case is still pending. There are still issues for you to be involved with and consider, and you should only do that based upon the formal evidence in this trial and nothing else. So you remain under that rule that I've instructed you on previously as far as not talking to anyone outside the jury and obviously don't continue your deliberations on this case at this time. Even during the second phase of the trial, with regard to that proceeding, you are not allowed to talk to each other about what's going on then as the proceeding commences. You would be able to do that once you start to deliberate at that time. Avoid all media coverage of the case. Don't do any research. So the way I refer to that is keep your mental slate clean so that it does not contain anything other than what we've discussed here on the case. With that, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your Monday and Tuesday off. On Wednesday, you'll report downstairs at 8:45 in the morning, and we'll proceed with the penalty phase of this case. Thank you for your continued service in this case, and the bailiffs will assist you at this time. They will take your notes so that you'll have them when you reconvene. And if they're in the jury room, they'll take possession of that too. So no one outside the jury will read your notes, but they will be there for you. At the end of the case, they will be destroyed. Thank you, and we'll see you on Wednesday.
I got it. It's on the calendar. No, he was not out of custody. He's in custody. He did not get a bond.
All right, the jury has exited the courtroom at this time. With regard to Wednesday, I've actually prepared some preliminary instructions for Wednesday's purposes, but it's going to need to have input from the lawyers. We could do that now or this afternoon, or we could do that on Monday. Really, it's your choosing. This way you can contemplate, what could be in those instructions. The template I use is the standard instruction from the Florida Supreme Court, and obviously there are things to put in there as well. It's really mostly on the state side. That doesn't have entries for mitigators. It just explains the concept of mitigation, but it does have aggravators that the state's going to be relying on. And what's unique about this case is we have two sentences. So it would be broken up as to count one, the state's suggesting these aggravating factors or attempting to prove these, and as to count two, these. So that would be a matter. First, we really should start off with the state to see what they're going to be asking for.
Just so that I will likely be preparing a written list of mitigators, just so I can share it with the state and the court. That doesn't need to be included in any instructions, but
I appreciate that.
Prepared, I do think.
Okay. All right. And anything else you want to reconvene on Monday?
Make sure that all the exhibits come back, and then did you print multiple copies of instructions?
Yes.
Is there a master copy that we can make sure goes with the evidence so that we have one?
Just take one of them. They're all the same. So, yes.
Judge, one final thing. Just for housekeeping purposes, I wasn't sure if you had other matters being heard on Monday. Is it okay if we leave all our binders here?
As long as that's okay with the ballots, I don't. It's just this case. So,
I thought so.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see. Let's make sure we get all of the evidence back to the clerk. Let's mark the court's instructions as court's exhibit. What is it? Three. Yeah. We'll mark them as court's exhibit 3. Okay. All right. So we'll be adjourned until Monday at 8:45, and we'll see you then.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think he'll ever be out on bond. Oh, I'm fighting an ear infection, and putting earbuds, hearing aids in with an ear infection hurts. Oh, fake. Saying. So that'd be done for that one. We have the other case that we are waiting on. So now we're waiting on this case here, which he is guilty on first-degree murder on 2 counts. One for the complete. I don't want to show them all. So the family is now leaving the courtroom. Amazing. Just, it breaks my heart for that grandma to lose her daughter and her grandson. I mean, it's just all because he didn't want to lose his marriage to the current wife. Well, he shouldn't have played. Hello, Miss Amy. Well, there can be a movie night. What do you suggest, my dear? What do you suggest? We need a suggestion.
In Florida this afternoon, where a jury has just found Jose Soto-Escalera guilty of first-degree murder in the death of his mistress, as well as their unborn child.
Let's show you this video just moments ago of him walking out of court. The penalty phase now scheduled for next Wednesday.
So that's what they've decided. They were going to, sometimes we see in court where they go right into the penalty phase, but there was some discussion with jurors as to some personal things that they needed to tend to, and so they decided to go for Wednesday for the penalty phase. So we're going to hear a lot about it, but I would assume that the jurors will come back with the death penalty in this case, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, they're going to be entering that whole separate phase, so they're not released just yet. They're told not to watch anything, not to talk to anybody, and then we head into phase 2 next week. All right, let's turn our attention now back to Florida, where we are in another verdict watch. This is the case for Herbert Swilley.
You can see the verdict clock up there, just over an hour and 30 minutes nearly in that case. The 57-year-old contractor, he is accused of drugging and then strangling his husband. This was strangling him to death back in March of 2023.
Prosecutors say that Swilley then moved Smith's body to an apartment where the couple had used it for sexual encounters with other men, and then staged it to look like someone else committed the murder.
So while we wait for the verdict in that case, let's get you caught up on highlights from the defense's closing argument that took place earlier today.
I are grateful for each of your time and attention during the course of this lengthy trial. And the best news is that it's coming to an end, right? So thank you for your time. I know it's a sacrifice. I watched some video evidence a few moments ago. We know who's driving those vehicles. Sure, you see vehicles that appear to be a white truck and a white Jeep that belonged to the victim. And appears to be the white work truck that belonged to Herbert, my client. But we don't know who was driving those vehicles. We see something walking by the Marathon gas station. We don't know who that person is. State wants everything to fit neatly into their timeline because that's their theory of this case. But that's just what it is. It's a theory. They have video evidence to support that theory. But what evidence do they have that was presented that supports the theory that Tim Smith was murdered at the marital home and his body was then moved in Herbert's white work truck to the apartment and staged? Did Sergeant Pender, who was a detective for the majority of his time in this case before he got promoted to his current position, did Detective Pender ever take the time to process that white truck for blood, prints, DNA? No. He didn't. Did Detective Pender ever take the time to have his crime scene forensic technicians process that white truck? No, he didn't. Did he take the time to have his crime scene technicians process the marital home for these items? No, he didn't. I will say, though, that the Marion County Sheriff's Office did a thorough processing of that apartment. They were there from the time that the body was discovered in the late morning until the late evening that night, almost midnight that night. So 12 hours, give or take. They were there collecting evidence, taking pictures, processing the crime scene thoroughly. And what did that processing reveal over the course of time? It revealed latent prints of value. It revealed DNA evidence of value. And these latent prints of value and DNA of value were linked to known criminal offenders in law enforcement databases, whose names were not Herbert, but instead James True and Lloyd Kelly. And the state wants you to believe that James True it's impossible for him to have committed this crime because it doesn't neatly fit into their timeline. Their theory of the case.
Happy birthday to your mom, Boo. The Resident Evil AMZ. Happy birthday to your mother. And I'm deaf without my hearing aids, so I do sign language. So what I signed was happy birthday to your mom. So happy birthday to your mom.
You heard from the medical examiner very experienced lady who said that the time of death is determined from the last time that person is known to be alive until the time that their body is discovered and they're deceased. That date range in this case is from Thursday, March 23rd, 2023. 9:30 p.m. was the last time Tim Smith was seen alive by Jordan.
All right, we're catching everyone up on the closing argument in that case. You can see, though, we have the deliberations clock. 1 hour and 35 minutes they have been deliberating in that case. The jurors in that case have had a couple questions so far, but we're going to squeeze in a quick break, and we'll be right back with more of those closing arguments.
Young mother found brutally murdered.
Now, the victim's boyfriend, a married father of 4,
is charged for the murder of his alleged mistress and her unborn child.
The pregnant mistress.
So we know that this person was found guilty. Now we got to wait till Wednesday to find out. And unfortunately, they can't give 2 DP sentences, but I guess they could. They could DP him one way and then. I'm kidding. Yes, I got my warm blanket on me. I don't know why. It's not 72 degrees here, boo. It is so not 72 degrees. Yeah, nope. It's 83. And that's cool for us. I mean, 83 is comfortable. I know, just divorce. Just get a divorce. That's all you got to do. My Lori Daybell, I don't know if they extradited her back because they said she's supposed to be by Zoom, but when I called and spoke to the county clerk of court, they said that she was in person. I'm reading comments on the Lori Daybell. It's crazy. I was born. Oh my gosh, I'm a March 26th baby. I'm at the opposite end of the month. Yeah, really. He unalived for $333,000. That to me is just insane. Do you know that I was a dog groomer for years, or pet groomer, and I used to do cats, and the way I did their nails was kind of interesting, but worked beautifully. My dad, those old wooden windows frames? He got really good heavy duty screen wire, tiny holed screen wire. And I put the cats on it and they go, and they just hang on it. And that's how I'd wash them. They just sit there. They wouldn't move. While they were there, I cut the nails that were poking through the screen. And I went chunk, 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 because they didn't want to let go. And then I quickly bathed them. So that's how I did it. That was my jam. Now, what are you playing today? I'm not a heavy gamer. The judge said the sentencing hearing he will not bring her back. However, she filed more documents beginning of September, so maybe decided to handle this. Well, that was the sentencing. This is not a sentencing hearing. But I am waiting for someone to. We've got this little chat going on over here about the Lori Daybell, trying to figure out what's happening. Oh, let me turn the volume on. but I'm talking. So anyway, we're trying to figure out what's happening because unfortunately, some people are getting different information, but I actually called the court. You saw me do it. I talked to the clerk. She stepped away, put me on hold, went and talked to somebody in the courthouse. They said she will be there in person, but there will be no video.
Keys to the secondary apartment where his husband, Tim Smith, was found murdered.
But prosecutors believe that Swilley did have those keys and that he transported Smith's body to the apartment where he then staged the scene to make it look like a sexual encounter turned violent.
Let's get you back into court now. We are replaying for you some of the moments from the defense's closing argument. We're actually playing it in its entirety, but you can see the verdict clock down there. 1 hour and 41 minutes. Jurors have been deliberating that in that case.
By Jordan. Up until Saturday morning, March 25th, 2023. So we have a span of 2 days. And the last time that Rebecca True knew of James True's whereabouts was 9:30 a.m. Friday morning, March 24th. She doesn't know where he was or what he was doing after that. And remember when Sergeant Pender testified the first time around, he said that he had used the license plate reader system to do a search on what he believed to be James True's vehicle, the Cadillac Escalade. And he couldn't find anything on those license plate reader results, which would indicate that James True, that vehicle anyway, was in Ocala during the date ranges of Tim Smith's time of death in this case. But according to Rebecca True, that Cadillac Escalade had breathalyzer in it. And James True is an alcoholic. So when her Volvo SUV was available to him, it would not be uncommon for him to use that vehicle instead. But Sergeant Pender said he didn't even know James True was married. He couldn't remember what other vehicles were there at their home in Parkland when he went there to visit. He was searching for the wrong car. And what about Lloyd Kelly? We heard from Lloyd Kelly. He testified. He's a multi-convicted felon, that he's currently on felony probation, that he and his wife would meet people on Grindr and have sexual encounters with them. He didn't recall Tim Smith. But the evidence is what the evidence is. And his DNA, Lloyd Kelly's DNA, was on that gun oil.
By the way, thanks to one of our fabulous mobs, and until I can give more information, I am now in contact with the nephew of the victim, Tim's sister's son. I have them in chat right now. They are on the 5th floor. They are waiting just as we are. I have sent them our love and support and condolences, and we'll keep in touch with them. And you know who you are. I'll share who you are later. Thank you so very much.
Lubrication bottle that was discovered in the same room where Tim Smith's body was found in that apartment. Initially, Herbert Swilley was cooperative with the investigation of Tim Smith's death. He had contacted Marion County Sheriff's Office to do wellness checks on Tim Smith.
For those of you who are new or have not been watching, this attorney has a stammer. And this is his way of speaking. S's are especially hard for him. So he really has to think about forming his words before he says them to help control the stutter or the stammer, as I prefer to call it. God love him for pushing through. He's a good lawyer. He's doing a great job.
Ultimately, Herbert obtained a key from Jack, the landlord, which was provided to Deputy Hunt, who made entry into the apartment and discovered Tim Smith's body. And we saw the body camera from Deputy Hunt, so we know exactly what he saw. And the state wants you to believe that Herbert had no reaction on that body camera. But if you watch the body camera, if you need to see it again, it'll be available for you all to review as many times as you want. Everyone grieves in their own way. And at this point in time, Tim had been missing for a few days. It was unlike Tim to not show up for work. That was just not Tim. Herbert very well could have known there was a problem given that. So it was not entirely surprising to him that no one was answering the door, that Tim was not responding to text messages, and that Tim was not okay. And speaking of that cooperation that Herbert initially provided to law enforcement, he did the walkthrough of the apartment with Detective Pender after Tim Smith's body had been removed on the day he was discovered. And he pointed out some things that were rather important because Herbert used that apartment too. He had just been there the weekend before. And Herbert pointed out that the gun oil lubricant bottle was not in the place where it was supposed to be. It was discovered in the room that had a bed in it where Tim Smith's body was. But it was supposed to be in the neighboring room that had the massage table, the toolbox, and the adult wing. But it wasn't there, and Herbert pointed that out. And lo and behold, that item had two different known offenders, either print or DNA on it. James True and Lloyd Kelly. He also pointed out
All right, let's go ahead and bring in our guest this hour to discuss. Joining us from New York City trial attorney Mackenzie Joy Brennan. Mackenzie, thank you so much for being with us. All right, watching this other case out of Florida here, defense counsel delivering the closing argument. Similar situation to what we saw in Soto-Escalera. They're pointing the finger at somebody else.
Yeah, I think these are a bit more compelling as alternative theories go. There is more tangible support. It's not just this could have happened. There's obviously a fingerprint connection. But what I'm realizing is that both of these alternative theory suspects working are dependent on them having consensual sexual encounters because there was no sign of forced entry. So it either is somebody who had a key or who was welcomed in there without conflict. So I don't know that that makes them any more compelling, because if we're predicating it on them having access through a sexual encounter, it means that it could have been just through the purpose of this apartment anyways, you know, finding somebody on Grindr and meeting up with them in this apartment. So it's almost like the defense's own theory makes it less likely, if that makes sense, because it means that they would have been in there consensually regardless. So I don't know if a jury would go through that twisted way of thinking, but that's where my mind went in terms of, do we have anything beyond their presence in this apartment to suggest that they committed this crime? And it seems to me that beyond that and beyond their criminal records, we don't have anything super compelling.
I guess what they need to do is connect the dots better. If you're a seasoned professional and you're having those questions, I'm sure our viewers and that jury is thinking that as well. Well, what do you make of the cooperation? I mean, this defense attorney is really pointing out things that were pointed out by this defendant as being out of place.
Right, exactly. I thought the same thing when I heard that, you know, they're taking the main suspect's word for these things being out of place or something being suspicious. And I think that and the cooperation, obviously there's an ulterior motive there, especially when you see a spouse charged with another spouse's death, that obviously they're going to be the main suspect. So there are different ways that people who commit crimes go about that position. And one of the ways is pretending to cooperate and being very helpful and trying to misdirect through that role. So again, I don't think that alone is going to make or break anybody's conviction that this person was responsible.
Well, in real life, this is now in the hands of the jury, right, Kelly?
Yeah, and you can see the clock approaching 2 hours in that case. We had up that body camera footage. That's one of the things the jurors asked for in this case as they've been deliberating. They wanted to take a look at that body camera footage in which the sheriff's deputies was asking him some questions, asking him about his husband dying, telling him his husband died. Jurors wanted to see how he reacted to that.
Fascinating case playing out there in Florida. We do have to take a break right now, Mackenzie. Thank you. You're going to be with us all hour long. As we take a break, you know, really just think about like the evidence that they're being presented with. If there is any sort of questions or verdicts, we'll break in, but we're going to take this short break. Bring you more coverage of the closing arguments for the dosed and choked murder trial playing out in Florida. We'll be right back.
Wow. I'm a little longer than I thought they were going to be, actually. Yeah. Excusez-moi. Excusez-moi. I hope to get some sleep tonight, although I got a 3-page book review that I have to write. And that's just going to be, so much fun. So I have a question for the Resident Evil AMC. How did you find us? I'd like to know how you came across our channel. I appreciate all the subs. I appreciate everybody. Please make sure you've subbed. Please. I'm not afraid to beg. And also, become a member. Our members do start off at 99 cents. I am in the process of revamping all of that. I will hopefully soon be having some content for members only. I tried to do a members only live the other day and it didn't quite work, but I'm looking to do members only live where we can get real. Don't have to worry about how and what we say or me. Don't have to worry about certain words. You've got a shepherd ski mix, one blue-eyed name, Olden. We have a 10-month-old and a 120-pound Roddy. Oh my gosh. Who was it? Was it Lori Daybell? Was 15 minutes? Yes, please leave your DNA, people. Please, we need your DNA. Don't forget, we do love those super chats and super stickers and but our memberships. Thank you so much. We've had a wonderful donor of memberships the other day. Thank you so much. She is such a sweet, dear friend of mine. And yeah, I cried twice. Let me get this clock turned off because, well, don't need it anymore. Done. I had the stop clock on. Thanks, guys, so much. My channel was. Oh. Really? I've been drinking too much water. I swear it's coming up as I drink it. I'm trying to find your channel. So what do you host? Oh, I see what you do. Well, thank you so much for joining. Oh, Angela, thank you for gifting a membership. I didn't say that for you to do that, but thank you so much. Debbie Olander, you've got a free membership. And y'all go over and like Resident Evil AMC. He's got 1,600 or 1,500 plus subscribers. He's got 1,600 videos. That's a lot of it. I thought I had a lot of videos, but man, that's a lot of videos. But I think yours are shorter videos. Mine goes to 8-10 hours a day kind of videos. But yes, well, congratulations on your channel as well. Thank you so much for being here and subscribing. Thank you so much for that gifted membership. We love them. Well, thank you so much. Well, be careful with your driving. We have verdict. Do we have a verdict? It says verdict. We have a verdict, y'all. So, you know, I always feel bad for both sides of the family. I mean, I really feel bad for the victim's family, but I also feel a little sad for the perpetrator's family, the defense family, because it really, in this situation, there's a death to the defendant's family. When that defendant goes to jail for life, there's a death. It's a type of death. I know, been there. I've been the defendant's wife and lost mine to prison, and it is horrible. I would say guilty on all charges. Yay. And then we have a 2:00 live that is going to be going at 2:30 p.m. my time. So maybe I'll get a break in between. I could use a break. And then, of course, tomorrow and Saturday, we will be tomorrow and Sunday, unless I can get a one-on-one with the nephew's son. I'm hoping to get a something up this weekend with them. That would be phenomenal. And I'll say thank you to the person when they tell me I can. I don't like to give away people's names and connections. I'm very protective of those for their privacy, not mine. Their privacy, not mine. So we do have a verdict in. So both of them, I would say, I don't remember how long this took, less than 3 hours, I presume. Yeah, these juries are quick. Well, honestly, in both of these cases, the last case I think had more. I mean, come on, you've got the videos of them sitting in the work vehicle talking about it. I mean, how more blatant can you be? How much more proof do you need? I mean, I thought criminals were supposed to be smarter than this. I really did. I thought criminals were supposed to be smarter than this. Well, we got some dumb people out there. Well, thank you so much, June. Oh, I don't know about that. I have no idea what you're talking about there, Amy. Don't know. In this, both two trials, you believe the state proved their case. I'm with you. You know, it doesn't matter your race, your orientation. It doesn't matter who you are. No one deserves to die in the manner that these people die. And I'm going to put the mic a little closer. And it is very frustrating to me that people are dying in the manner. I mean, dying at the hands of somebody that's not in a situation. Red room is never the answer. Straight up red room is never the answer. And especially when you sit there and red room somebody. You know what? I didn't do the like and share today, guys. I am sorry. I appreciate you sharing and liking, but I didn't get it up today because we've had so many trials. It doesn't keep up well. My apologies. So what I'm going to do is I'll go back and watch the comments. If you were in here, you will have an entry in the end of the month giveaway. The Cleveland County Sheriff's Office announces that the potential discovery of human remains believed to be those of Travis Decker. This week's U.S. Marshals Service Pacific Northwest Violent Offender Task Force held a search and included the Sheriff's Office, Washington State Parole, and a bunch of other people. During the search, human remains were located in a remote wooded area south of Leavenworth. While positive identification has not been confirmed, preliminary findings suggest they belong to Travis Decker. The Sheriff's Office are currently processing the scene. Has been the other sheriff. They have been in contact with Decker's family, providing them with support and updates. Further updates will be provided at a later time. Thank you so much, June, for that. A few miles from the campground where the girl's body was found could spell the end of the manhunt, stretched in the deep, remoted wilderness, including alarms across the state. Yeah. So hopefully they are his remains and nobody has to deal with him. See you later, love. Thank you for hopping in. You're going to leave just before verdict? Bye, Resident Evil AMC. Thank you for popping in. Hey, Ruby. Well, I hope you feel better, love. I hope that whatever ails you, or you are recovering from. But thank you so much for popping in and commenting. Like I said, we are all waiting with this. The sister of the victim is the blonde-headed in the back. Let's see if they're going to get the audience, if anybody's even in there. Nobody's in there yet. Oh, there is the son. There's the nephew right there with the beard, sitting with the family. That gentleman there is the nephew that we've been chatting with. And my mod knows who she is. And like I said, I won't say anything unless they tell me who. Barry Morphew, facing Redrum charges of the death of his wife, is in the process of making a $3 million bond. We appreciate every one of our viewers. Thank you so much for being here. And especially when you're not feeling so well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I guess the jury is now coming into the courtroom. And they have not turned the sound on. There it is.
Are the attorneys on their way back? Or?
I don't know, Your Honor.
They're on their way. I don't think they anticipated it being this quick of a. Let me do this so I can grab that.
On their way back? Or?
I don't know, Your Honor.
I'm trying to grab the comment so I can move it.
Are the attorneys on their way back? Or?
I don't know, Your Honor.
There it goes.
And all stay completely quiet, regardless of the verdict.
Oh, that woman looks very
Until
disheveled.
court is adjourned and everyone has left the court. Then you're free to do whatever you want. Okay. But in the courtroom, we all stay quiet. Let's bring the jurors back, please. Thank you.
Madam, you're here. Looks like she's getting dressed. Yes, feel better, Ruby. Well, I know that was fast. Both of them were quite fast, actually. No, it's never good when they're coming back. Maybe she was having a noon nap. Trials are brutal. You get zero sleep. It is brutal, and some lawyers do cat nap. That is correct. This is a DP case as well. We have two cases that are DP. The other one, the Soto-Escalera, was found guilty on both counts of redrum of the mother and of the unborn baby. That is a DP case. This too is a DP case.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my understanding you've reached a verdict. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to have the foreperson hand that to the bailiff. Thank you. All right, I'll have the clerk publish the verdict.
Verdict. We, the jury, find as follows as to count one of the charge. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder as charged with the indictment. So say we all do this 19th day of September 2025.
You decide want the jurors polled.
Yes, Your Honor, please.
Madam Clerk, please poll the jurors.
Billy Butler, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Andrea Thayer, is this your verdict? Yes. Esther Hill, is this your verdict? Yes. Trent Mansell, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Kimberly Fry, is this your verdict? Yes. Robert Speck, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Erica Fleck, is this your verdict? Yes. Andreu Garcia, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Christopher Myers, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Michael Donaldson, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Kelly Cribb, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Catherine Natal Martinez, is this your verdict? Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank you for your time and consideration in this case. I also wish to advise you of some very special privileges enjoyed by jurors. No juror can ever be required to talk about the discussions that occurred in the jury room, except by court order.
Obviously, in Florida, they do. This is not the first, nor will be the last case in Florida that does it that way.
For many centuries, our society has relied upon juries for consideration of difficult cases. We have recognized for hundreds of years that a jury's deliberations, discussions, and votes should remain their private affair as long as they wish it. Therefore, the law gives you a unique privilege not to speak about the jury's work. Although you are at liberty to speak with anyone about your deliberations, you are also at liberty to refuse to speak to anyone. A request to discuss either your verdict or your deliberations may come from those who are simply curious, from those who might seek to find fault with you, from the media, from the attorneys, or elsewhere. It will be up to you to decide whether to preserve your privacy as a juror. That, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask you to go back to the jury room, and I'll discharge you in just a few moments, okay? The bailiff has your phones and all the other electronic devices.
The nephew is in the picture, I believe. Justice for the family. It was his sister.
All right, Mr. Swilley, the jury has convicted you as charged of murder in the first degree. What do you want to do about sentencing? Just there's really no real choice in sentencing.
There's no choice. I don't know if the state has any victim impact statements or needs.
Well, I was going to address that with them in a second.
Prepare same, but we're prepared to go ahead with it now. If that's okay.
What is it? What is it?
Judge, we would like to go ahead with sentencing now. If I could just have a minute to
Well,
see
I'm
if anybody
going
wants
to discharge them,
Okay.
but I certainly, whoever has a right to speak,
Yeah,
they should
sure.
give an opportunity to speak. But I didn't know if they were here or not. So,
I believe everybody that would want to speak is here, but if I may have a moment to check while
Sure.
Your Honor goes back with the.
Sure. So we'll be adjourned just for a few moments, okay?
Get used to the handcuffs, boo. So they pulled the DP. Okay, so they're not seeking DP on this case then. Okay. So I guess this is not a DP case. For him, it is a DP. At his age, it's a DP. No, it wasn't. I honestly think she was napping. I we'll see. I did congratulate the family, sent them our love. I said, praise God for the verdict. We pray that this will be the start of healing for you and your family. So yeah, this is tough. And I've had to sit and listen to victim impact statements against my ex, and it was tough for me, and I wasn't even a part of it. I don't know. And what bothers me, though, a lot of times those who are convicted don't even seem fazed about it. Mine wasn't. Mine did not seem fazed in the least. Get used to the handcuff ankle, what I call the cuff and shackles and the belly chains. The only problem is they already have. Oh, yeah, he's going to get along just fine in prison. You like my hair today? I just braided it and made a bun. Did a ponytail and just whipped it around. Nothing fancy. Oh yeah, I'm sure after the shock of having to live there, he'll make his way good. He won't be short of adult entertainment. Yeah, any amount of time is a life sentence for him at his age, definitely. Yep, I think. He'll do fine in prison. And it's not because of his orientation, it's just who he is. Oh, Ruby, thank you. I don't always, but thank you. I've been trying more often. You know, it's weird. When we had the studio of my son's business, which we don't have anymore, we've moved everything to the home. I had to get up and physically go into the office every day. And if court was at 7:30, man, I was out the door by 6:30, you know, that kind of thing. And I had no problem getting up and going. Absolutely no problem. Now I'm home and I literally have to go just across the way. I got my bedroom, bathroom, and this office. I just literally have to go 12 feet, 15 feet, maybe a little longer. I don't know, but not very far. It is so hard to get up in the morning. You know, it's like I have this fear of oversleeping. I almost did once. I got on in 7 minutes. I got up, brushed my teeth, got dressed, put on my, do the full beat, as we call it, makeup, did my makeup, made my cup of coffee, sat down and got live in 7 minutes. That's a bonus because had that happened, I would have been late having to get to the office. Justice is served twice today. Oh, I don't know, Amy. My makeup, if you saw the last 2 days, it was pretty intense. But that's okay. I tried to explain to people that these are very bright lights, and I'm a very pale person, so I require a lot more makeup. So my makeup looks twice as heavy in person than it does on camera. And I forgot I had all that makeup on, and I went to the drive-through, and the guy went, ugh. I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm a YouTuber. This is show makeup." What did Angela say? I guess yours didn't buy the reasonable doubt or trying to throw the daughter under the bus. Wonder how they feel about that. We may find out. But I agree. I was not happy. Oh, right now I just want to go take a nap. I have got my house, all the way through my house is chin high of stuff. So this weekend, I have a conference this weekend that Diane and I may be interpreting for. I need to figure that out. Let me see if she responded. It starts tonight, so there may be dual movie and interpreting. Well, let me call and see if she found out. Huge paper due tonight. A lot going on. Why can't I?
Well,
I'm talking to Diane, y'all.
I just don't know.
If we pay for it,
Yeah,
why can we not interpret it?
I don't know.
Is that what they told you?
They ain't told me anything.
So why do you think we can't interpret without permission?
Well, it would be on. I don't know. I just really don't know. I don't know.
Let's do some Googling. Can you do some Googling?
Well, I can't. Not if I want to get this paper finished. You do the Googling.
I'll do the Googling.
Okay. Nah.
I ain't going to mute myself. I'm talking to my Miss Diane.
Bah.
I'm entertaining y'all with my conversation. Donald Adelson was crying with no tears and lies. Yeah, Donald Adelson, that was an interesting little verdict. Oh my God. Yeah, that was interesting. Very interesting. Uh, Dang it, we can't. Shoot. Need permissions. Let's hear what we're going to do now. We're going to get the victim impact statements. Y'all need to be prepared emotionally. I'm going to have to take a comfort break, but I'll leave this up and running. I'll be right back.
We go back on the record. We're here on 23 CF 4461. Here for sentencing on Herbert Swilley. Ms. Byrne, is there any witnesses you want to call or anyone who wants to make a statement?
Yes, Your Honor. We have 3 people that would like to make a statement.
Go ahead.
First person is Valerie Smith.
We do have a right to speak.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I advise you not to speak on this, but you're welcome to.
Your Honor,
Good afternoon, ma'am. Before you say anything, can I have your name, please?
Valerie Smith.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
It's hard to put a lifetime of love and memories into one piece of paper. But I didn't come here prepared to do this, or I probably would have brought a book. I'm Valerie Smith, Tim and Sandy's cousin. There's a few of us here, and the other dozen or so are live streaming. I'm here to speak on Tim's behalf because he can no longer speak for himself. I feel qualified because the 3 of us were always together growing up. Their dad and our dad were brothers and the best of friends. So every chance we got, we were running through the woods of Dixie County together. And later in life, I always looked forward to family gatherings because I knew Tim would be there. He never missed one. The day that we learned of his death, we were all together waiting on him to get there. We weren't sure if we should eat or go ahead to eat without him because we knew Tim was coming. But he did not. And he never will again. When he entered a room, the joy level would immediately rise. When you would talk to Tim, you and he were the only people in the room. He was like that with everyone. He was so many things to so many people. You knew you were important to him. On his wedding day, I tried to let him know how important he is to me. I told him that his bravery and courage to live an open and honest life had led to me finally being able to do the same. We were the same age, pretty much, but I looked up to him, and I loved him so dearly. We will miss him every day until we see him again. I love you, Tim.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Blake Riles.
Mr. Sir, if you can give us your name.
Yes, sir. Blake Rouse, Your Honor. I'm the defendant's nephew. Or not defendant. Well, I guess you could say that too. But Tim really meant a lot to us. And I just want to say having him gone, it's been hard on all of us. And I want to thank the state and everything that everybody's done and all that's went on this week. It's been so hard on all of us, and I'm glad we finally get to lay Buddy's memories to rest. I just hope that I may not forgive what happened, but I hope you can find forgiveness yourself. That's all I have to say on the situation of this. And I think I'm done.
Thank you very much, sir.
Candace Baker.
And if you could put your name on the record, please.
My name is Candace Baker. Tim was one of my best friends for 4 years. Very short, but very impactful time. Tim was an amazing, smart, loving person. And a lot of times I wish I was more like him. He was intelligent, kind and loving to all types of people. And there wasn't a selfish bone in his body. And he was a giving, and he made everyone feel heard and special. And this tragedy and losing Tim has made me question my ability to trust people and believe in people, because I love people, and now I wonder if people are honest and good, and I refuse to let that side win. I'm so honored to have spent those 4 years with Tim, and I'm so grateful for this court and the system for giving us justice. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's all the state has, Your Honor.
Ms. Byrne, is there anything you want to add for sentencing?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. I have, the credit is 686 days between November 3rd, 2023 and September 19th. I get you add 687. It's 686 plus 1, 687. I know. Mr. Klein, anything you want to present for sentencing?
Your Honor, I have advised my client of his right to speak. He has advised he does not wish to make a statement or speak to the court. So we do not have anything to present from the defense.
Is that correct, Mr. Swilley? You don't want to make any sort of statement?
Yes.
All right, I will not hold that against you anyway. However much the sentence here is required by statute. In this case, you're going to be adjudicated guilty of murder in the first degree and sentenced to life imprisonment. There is a, I don't know if you do, you have to pay court costs, and then you'll have to pay $100 cost of prosecution. Let me go back. Is the state requesting the $100 cost of prosecution?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Based on the state's request, I will grant the $100 cost of prosecution. Anything else from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right. You have 687 days credit. Anything else I can miss? Good luck to you, sir. You have 30 days to appeal. Do you want to have an attorney appointed for purposes of appeal?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You'll need to talk to your attorney about that. Do you believe you can, were you appointed or hired?
I was hired, Judge.
Okay.
I met with him in the back. I had him complete an application So I will prepare the notice of appeal related documents, and then I will be moving to withdraw it, asking the court to appoint a public defender.
Just really want you to raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm this information shall give us the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you
Yes, I
God?
do.
Can you afford to hire an attorney for purposes of appeal?
Yes, sir.
I take it you have no income at this time?
Yes, sir.
All right. And I take it the house was sold and gone?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's gone.
All right. I'll appoint the public defender for purposes of appeal. All right. Good luck to you, sir. You have 30 days to file.
The daughter sold it. The money has been spent and gone. There is nothing left.
What were you doing?
Donald waiting for life, and rightfully so. What a shame. Yeah, definitely a coward. What a shame. What a shame. Wonderful. I mean, man is gone. I mean, I know we've laughed at some of their intimate desires and funds, works and adult playhouse and toys. We've laughed at that just to give some tension break in the case, but in the end, it is heartbreaking that he took somebody else's life for $333,000. Wow. I look at him and I'm like, how he snapped the guy's spine in half. This guy did. He must have been really, really full of adrenaline to do that. But yes, he is a coward. And there's just nothing to say for on his behalf. Yeah, ain't that the truth? So he is officially done. No emotions at all. Well, and in all honesty, a lot of times in these cases, they're prepared. He knew it was coming. I'm watching to see what happens. Now the lady's got her shirt buttoned right. She's got everything on right. She looks a little more presentable. I guess he's signing his life away. Yeah. It's been a heavy week. Both of these cases pretty heavy. All of them are heavy. This one, I don't know. Icky. And I was kind of wanting some Lori Daybell today, in all honesty. I'm going to see if anything hit with Lori Daybell today. Oh. Yes.
Including the information I've provided in my memorandum with attachments. I don't believe a probationary sentence is appropriate for this 81-year-old defendant in light of his condition, the fact that he lives in California, the fact that he's not a danger to the public, as I try to point out. And I'll go through those factors briefly. Your Honor is aware that the crime occurred in conjunction with a celebrity photo shoot at a convention in Cherry Hill, where Mr. Busey was posing with interested individuals and having pictures taken with them. Judge, we acknowledge under NJTC 44-1A to a lesser or greater extent, and we're suggesting to a lesser extent, that factors 3 and 9 are applicable, and deterrence I suggested most of my sentencing memoranda to courts is always somewhat applicable, but in this case, specific deterrence, I don't think is a heavy factor because I don't think Mr. Boosie, under all these circumstances, is at risk of committing another criminal act in his life. Getting to the mitigating factors in 2C44-1B, I asked the court in my memorandum to find that factors 1, 2, 7, 8, and 9 have application to the case. Although he doesn't have an unblemished prior record, he has led a law-abiding life for a significant period of time. And it is unlikely that the confluence of factors that led to the instant offense will emerge again. I say that, Judge, because he's not, his mobility and he spends a lot of his time at home with family, and he's not actively pursuing at this juncture, to my knowledge, any type of commercial ventures in which he's seeking to have his photographs taken with people. That was the circumstance.
I can't help it. I'll turn it down a little bit.
That presented himself with an unfortunate consequence. I under the circumstances, I asked the court to find that the mitigating factors outweigh the aggravating factors, and the sentence sought by the state in the plea agreement, which we've agreed to, is a probationary period. I asked the court to sentence on the basis of the facts of the crime pled guilty to, which is to be specific, a touching of the buttocks of an adult female over her clothing. And again, I'm not minimizing the fact that there is a victim here, Judge, but I'm simply trying to explain to the court our perception of the nature and degree of the harm inflicted on the victim. I'm not saying no harm was inflicted. I'm saying it was not substantial to the degree necessary that Mr. Busey has to be supervised.
Something popped up.
Your Honor, make brief reference. I attached as exhibits a report from Dr. Daniel Heyman, a substantial report which was produced in 2018 in advance of, prior to the commission of the instant offense. And that particular evaluation was done by Dr. Heyman, who has pointed out in his report, is a certified neurologist and psychiatrist. He notes that in 1978, Mr. Busey, 1988, Mr. Busey sustained a severe brain injury in a motor vehicle accident where he had no helmet. He was, as a result of that accident, left in a coma for 30 days. Had to learn to talk, speak, and function again, with which great effort he's been able to accomplish. And certainly there's been no suggestion by law enforcement, by any medical doctor, anyone, that he's not competent in a manner to deal with this legal issue against him. And again, I reiterate, for purposes of the record, I have no doubt, based upon my continuing conversations with him, that he's competent to have entered a guilty plea and be sentenced today. Medically speaking, he had a cancerous tumor removed from his sinus in 1997. So he's not been without serious medical injuries. And according to the doctor, Your Honor, he used certain language, but he does have mild cognitive impairment, which is and early dementia, which again, the court can take judicial notice that having the luck, good fortune, and good health to live to be 80 years old or older, there's going to be a diminution to some extent in cognitive skills. But again, he's competent and knows what he's doing, knows what's happening today, and is asking the court to impose financial sanctions only. Again, it's traumatic brain injury. I don't want to get technical, but as the doctor says in his report, the injury affects prefrontal cortex and temporal lobes bilaterally, and there were known to be clear cognitive deficits in focus and memory. Again, I don't want to confuse this with someone who needs attention, needs some type of support, needs someone around him to act independently and does act independently. He has a hearing problem also, and many people in their 70s and 80s have that. I'm beginning to get a hearing problem. So under all those circumstances, without minimizing, he does live in California. His elder son lives with him on most occasions, and he's resided there for many years. He has no ties to New Jersey other than his visit in 2022. I might add, since that the case has been delayed for various reasons having nothing to do with the court or defense counsel, in that we're in 2025 now, but during that period of time, the 3 years, Mr. Ducey has not engaged in any behavior that would indicate he needs any type of.
Are y'all wanting to watch this? I want to feed this. See how the sound is.
If you want your appeal rights, sentencing him to
charged for the murder.
The case has been delayed for various reasons having nothing.
A woman accused him of touching her butt here in the middle of a photo shoot or something over clothing. I'm questionable.
To do with the court or defense counsel, in that we're in 2025 now, but during that period of time, the 3 years, Mr. Ducey has not engaged in any behavior that would indicate he needs any type of probationary supervision. So again, I haven't spoken much about Mr. Ducey's life, but he is obviously a recognized public figure, has had substantial success in the acting industry, is a well-known individual, and unfortunately, because of that, I'm sure he would not want to give up any of his public persona, but he has engaged. One of the deterrences for someone like Mr. Ducey is the substantial adverse publicity that attends to being in a proceeding like this. To me, that's a measurable penalty also, and I think it factors into the suggestion that he will not violate the law.
All right, that was Busey's attorney, and we are wrapping up our coverage in the sentencing of actor Gary Busey. I want to get you back now as the judge wraps up her sentencing.
Consider that in my sentencing that I've imposed. President Cummings, 2022-1175 out of 0412 that's dismissed. The remaining counts of the indictment, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are dismissed. I am advising you, sir, of your appeal rights. You, sir, have 45 days to appeal this sentence today. Do you understand that?
You have 45 days to appeal the 2-year probation sentence.
Yes, I understand.
Now, if you cannot afford a private attorney to file your appeal, you can write a letter to the criminal division manager. If you qualify for representation, an attorney will be appointed to you. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
You also, sir, if you were to miss that 45-day deadline to file your appeal, you could seek a 30-day extension to file your appeal if you could show a good reason for missing the original deadline of 45 days.
What? But
If you
she had
wanna-
her hand in front of her.
Can you repeat that, please?
Yes, I can. If you want to miss that 45-day deadline to file your appeal, you can make a request for a 30-day extension to file your appeal. Do you understand that?
You could request 30-day extension.
What?
You can request a 30-day extension for an appeal if you choose to file an appeal. past
Okay,
45
yeah, I understand.
Now, if you miss that 30-day deadline, you can lose your right to appeal. Do you understand, sir?
I lose my right to what?
Appeal.
Yes, I understand.
Hey, Joey, take the other person out my booth. I don't want anyone in the booth, but who's supposed to be in the booth right now? Do you understand that, sir?
You said yes.
Yeah.
You already said yes.
Yes, I do.
Now, I want to tell you about what's called your post-conviction relief rights. You have 5 years from today's date to file a petition for post-conviction relief. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Unless there is an exception under the court rule 3:22-12. Do you understand, sir?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now did your attorney in the past review with you your appeal rights that I've just read to you?
Did your attorney review this with you? Your appeal rights?
Okay. Yes, I did. Yeah. I will follow the advice of my attorney.
Say it again, sir, please. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
What?
She wants you to repeat.
I will follow. Read that writing. I will follow the advice of my attorney.
Okay, but I just explained to you your right to appeal. Do you understand what I just explained to you?
Say that again, please.
I just explained to you your right to appeal the sentence. Do you understand those rights?
Do you understand the rights?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Okay, based on what you've stated, I am satisfied that you understand your appeal right and it's time to file a post-conviction relief application. Now, so the record is very clear. I have been making observations of this defendant so that the court is satisfied that he understands everything that is happening.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes.
I have requested medical documentation that says Mr. Boosie understands and that he's competent, and I have received that documentation. So I am satisfied that he understands.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Now, with that, court is complete. Mr. Boosie stated,
All right, so the judge making sure to get on the record that she got documentation that he is in fact competent. I mean, he seems competent today. 2 years probation for Gary Busey, $50 fine, no contact order with the victim in the case.
Okay, so there we go. We're good. Okay, so what we're gonna do with the Klung Bike Bar. Okay, we have Karina Cooper's sentencing coming up at 2:30 Central Time. We're going to end this live. Everyone's going to take a break, and those of you who wish to come back, please come back. We are going to watch that, and then we're done. June, Amy wanted to know about a movie night. I don't know if she gave us a suggestion. Sorry, double checking. We may have a special interview live on Sunday. Keep an eye out for that. If we get it to work out, we will. I will get it posted early enough for you guys. So click that bell. Make sure it's clicked so you get notified. Also, make sure to go and look at our membership. Subscribe if you've not subscribed already. He didn't put there. It's supposedly his hand touched her butt while taking photos. On the side back of her butt. I don't know. No. Again, a musical will give us an idea. Mamma mia, here I go again. My, how could I resist ya? Kind of a swat to booty. Yeah. Hamilton? We'll try. I don't know if I've actually seen Hamilton all the way through. I know someone who does not like music. Yeah, I know. There's so many. Okay, Boo. We'll look into it. Amy, we'll look into it. Keep an eye out in our Discord, Amy. We'll find something. I will talk to Miss June about doing the musical Hamilton. So we'll look into that. Come back. We'll let you know at 2:30. We'll have it set up by then. We'll let you know at 2:30 what we're going to do. June. Oh, let me see if we can get Hamilton. She said, let me see if she can get it. So if we can do Hamilton, we'll have the event posted by 2. That way you'll know. I'd love to have you come in. We do enjoy our movie night. Sometimes it's just June and I. I get it. Everybody's got a life, but we do love it when y'all hop in. We do. Please teleport over. Yes, we'll be in 1 hour. I'm going to go walk around the block, get some blood flow to my legs. They greatly need it. Oh, yes, I have. Oh, okay. The Jury. Is that a show or is that a movie? Is that a series or a movie? I thought we had seen it. Which seasons? There's multiple juries. The Jury series. Oh, it's a series from 2002 to 2011. 2002 to 2011. Wow. Even on YouTube. Okay, well, we'll look it up. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. We have had a lot of craziness today. We've had 2 trials. Both of them ended up in less than 3 hours. 1 hour, 7 minutes, 7 seconds. The other one I didn't get an actual time on, but it was less than 3 hours of deliberation. Both came back with guilty. One is a DP case. That sentencing will be done on Wednesday. The other one, found guilty, life in prison. He's 70-something years old. It will be a life in prison. So be on the lookout for potential special live on Sunday. We can get everything worked out and set up. In the meantime, we will see you later. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. I hope you have an awesome day. Till next time, take care.